And they probably could have done that if they actually put forth some freaking effort. And they didn't, and they got exposed. UCLA looked like the SEC team.
Yeah.
But Ed Orgeron's in trouble if they don't turn this thing around. Because last year was abysmal as well.
Yeah, that Gene Chizik thing might be happening to him.
Yeah. I'd kind of feel sorry for him if that happened.
Yeah. I think the SEC's better with old Ed.
I do too. I like the guy. He's entertaining.
Yes. But keeps it interesting anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Indiana, Iowa is kind of a surprising score. Iowa 34-6 win over the 17th ranked team in the country. Iowa scored for 18th, but pretty ton of domination here.
Yeah. DB had 2 pick sixes in the game. Iowa ran the ball well. I have said all along, Indiana is a complete pretender. There's no way they were even remotely as good as their ranking was last year. They lost to a 4-5 Ole Miss team in the bowl game, and Iowa blows them out. When they had, Indiana was healthy. They couldn't even spell the damn name of the state right on the jerseys. So just the whole thing for them was a shit show. I'm not high on them. I think last year was like, their golden year, and they're going to come back down to earth.
Right. Montana took down Washington, who was 20th in the country, 13-7. Didn't see that game. I'm pretty sure you didn't either.
No, it kind of sounds like
So we got 2 more games to discuss. Georgia Clemson. We'll go with that one. This was the Saturday night big game. Georgia's defense. Clemson's defense looked great. But Georgia come out on top 10-3. That was probably one of the most ferocious defenses Georgia's ever ran out on the field. And only concern now would be their offense. And the same could be said for Clemson with 7 sacks.
They rushed for 2 yards, had 180 total yards in the game. I was wrong about this game. I thought it would have been flip-flopped. As dominant as Georgia's defensive front was, I thought Clemson's was going to be that dominant and Georgia wouldn't be able to move the football. Georgia actually moved the football pretty well. They ran for, I think, $130, which isn't great. Zamir White, I think, had 12 carries to 70 yards. He had some nice runs. Kendall Milton had some nice runs. They had a lot of wide receivers out. Tight ends out. Fitzpatrick, the starter last year, was only in a few times. Brock Bowers, the true freshman tight end, he caught like 8 balls. They didn't ask JT Daniels to do anything. JT Daniels didn't even look that great, but then he didn't throw the ball down the field much.
I don't think there's anything open down the field.
There wasn't, and that's kind of why people online were like, Georgia can't do anything. It's like, well, the offensive coordinator is actually calling a pretty good game. They can't block that defensive front for too long. So they're calling short passes and check downs and just trying to move the chains the best they could. I thought that was the best game plan to beat a team like Clemson.
Yes. And who knows what they're going to be 3 weeks from now when they get some of these guys back healthy.
And they moved the ball. They had a missed field goal. They had 2 times inside the red zone where one of them led to the missed field goal. The other one led to a field goal. That penalties kind of pushed them back. They had another one where 2 penalties in a row pushed them back outside of field goal range. They ended up punting. And then they took a knee at the end of the game. Who knows? They could have scored again, but it doesn't matter. That defense looked really good. DJ didn't know what was going on. All those wide receivers of Clemson that I thought were these 6'3", world beaters, other than Nagata, they couldn't do anything. The kid Shipley that I've been hearing about all summer, that Christian McCaffrey Shipley, they only handed it to him 2 or 3 times. He caught a swing pass. And that was his best play. Juked the Georgia linebacker for a 15-yard play. They just didn't give it to him again. Kirk Herbstreit kept waiting for DJ to tuck it and run because he was like, they can't do anything against Georgia. The only way they're going to come back is to tuck it and run, and they just never let DJ run it. So maybe that was just kind of coaching. I don't know. But Georgia's defense was so good. There was a point in the game where Clemson would have the ball, and I was like, they're not going to do anything. It's just so... I just wasn't even concerned they were going to score.
Yeah, there were very few times they didn't cross midfield, and I'm like, I don't think that...
And then when they did, they'd get sacked and push them back. But neither offense looked good. Obviously, both offenses are going to be dramatically improved. Georgia's going to get to hit their guys healthy. Clemson's going to get the offensive line figured out, I would imagine. They're going to, the receivers are great. The running backs are really good. That defense is phenomenal. But I was shocked that Georgia was able to move the ball as well as they did without being able to take any downfield shots. There was really no big explosive plays. Right. So
they might change later on, a few weeks from now, get some guys back.
Yeah.
And that. And last night, there was a thriller in Tallahassee. Notre Dame comes out victorious 41-38. But that fourth quarter was excellent. You fell asleep right when it got interesting.
I had too many drinks on the lake yesterday, and I couldn't hang. I feel like an ass. Yeah. But I will say, I was able to watch almost full 3 quarters. Mm-hmm. Florida State looked a hell of a lot better than they have. The defense came to play. The offense looks pretty good. They got a couple of good running back by committee. Mm-hmm. The wide receivers look like Division I wide receivers. Mm-hmm. The only thing I was kind of critical of was the offensive line play and pass pro and the quarterback. But as you said, Milton came in.
And lit it up. He was 4 for 4 right off the bat. Drove him down the field, scored a touchdown. Running game was good there in the fourth quarter. There was a few mistakes there in overtime that cost them the game. There was the fumble that turned out to be an incomplete pass. They kicked the field goal right before they kicked the field goal. Then they called timeout and moved him up about 20 yards. Missed the field goal, and then that just gave Notre Dame an opportunity to
college kickers.
Yeah, pretty much. Florida State surprised me. I think they're going to do some things. They're going to mess somebody's season up. They might be the one who really ends Clemson's run. I kind of thought
during that second quarter, Florida State was kind of hanging around. They even took the lead for a little bit, but they were hanging around. And I just remember thinking, this is a young team, and the offensive line isn't as good in pass pro as they should be. Why isn't an experienced guy like Milton playing? The QB they had looked kind of young and inexperienced. He only played a little bit last year, but I thought Milton should. This is a team that Milton should be leading, is what I'm trying to say. And sounds like he did that towards the end of the game. I was very surprised about Notre Dame as well. I thought they would fall off, losing Kmet, losing they lost Claypool a couple years ago, losing Ian Book, losing. They had the running back come back. He played great last year, but I was like, they can't. Cone looked like freaking Dan Marino out there, and he lost a job to Mertz. And I'm kind of like, how the heck? Who's evaluating these QBs at some of these schools? Right. These dudes are transferring and looking like world beaters at the new school. Yeah. He looked great. He dropped, making passes in the end zone with dropping the bucket kind of passes.
Now, I did notice in the the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, the tight end, number 47 for Notre Dame, kept dropping balls. He'd been catching them all day long, and all of a sudden he's just dropping everything thrown to him. In critical situations, he couldn't make a play. That being said, Notre Dame got the win, and they stay alive. Both teams are probably going to be better than I thought they were going to be. So that's a good thing. Yes. So that's pretty much all the games. Ole Miss plays here against Louisville in about an hour. Yes, very high on Ole Miss this year. I know Kiffin's not going to be coaching. Take the over. Every time Ole Miss plays a game, take the over. I forgot about that. He's got the COVID. Yeah, he's got the vid, and it's 100% vaccination rate in the program. Yeah. So this is a breakthrough case. So we'll see what happens. But he'll probably be on the damn phone from wherever he's at with somebody in the calling plays. Calling him in. Yeah. All right. Well, this concludes this week's episode. We might do another episode here in just a second. Talk to you guys later. See you guys.